Welcome to the 10th Republican Congressional District. We have redesigned our website. I'm John Irvine, Communications Director. We've added a few features that may be of importance to you. First, we have added an events section. For this one, we need your help. If you know of an event that may be of importance to our members, send it to 10thgopmi@aol.com. Note 10th is spelled out, unlike our website. Seems email addresses can't start with a number. Next, we have letters to the editor. Send letters, pictures of events, or videos. We want to know what's going on, or what you think. Again, send them to 10thgopmi@aol.com. Our first page is reserved for current events. On February 4th, we had a delegate sign-up event at the Faith Baptist Church in Clinton Township. Our host, Pastor Tim Berlin, had some words of wisdom. Here is just a short clip.
We are glad that you are here, and we are always happy to host. Can I just say that as a party, we need to understand that there is an enemy, and it isn't each other. And at some point, we're going to have a commonality about who we are and be able to disagree on some of the things that are off of the basis or off the foundation. There is a clear directive of the liberals to undermine anything we'll recognize in Michigan. That is a fact. And so the real enemy is the liberals.
Pastor Ralph Rebrand is running to be a member of the National Republican Committee. Here is Pastor Rebrand.
I am running for the RNC National Committee, man. We all agree that Michigan is going down the tubes. It's not politics anymore, it is evil. In the 1920s, Detroit was known as the Paris of the Midwest. It was also known as the richest city in the world.
Just a reminder, you can watch the full videos on our website, 10thgopmi.com. Next, Tim Vetter, from checkmyvote.com, explains one way Michigan rigs the vote.
I want you to know that when I hit the pause, this is what was displayed. That was perfect. She wants you to know that voting twice is illegal. So for individuals who want fair elections, we agree with you, Dana. So what I'm about to show you on the following slides will be of interest. Now what I'm going to show you here is this is what a duplicate vote looks like. What I did, or what the researchers from have done, it's very simple. You look over all the voting records that you get from the Secretary of State. You combine a voter ID, that's the same. The election date is the same. You have a duplicate vote in that election. Very simple. We have another example. We have many examples of people voting twice. I don't want to say people voting twice. What's more accurately said? The data in the Secretary of State, that data shows that people are voting twice. Do we think that's the case? No. Here we have an example of a person votes in person all the time, but guess what? The first time he has a duplicate vote, it's an absentee vote.
Tim gives many examples of vote rigging. And then, Tim explains the Michigan GOP bylaws, showing that Christina Caremo is still the chairman.
Quorum again, the second occurrence of it. What is the quorum for removing our chairperson? It says 75%. Is 75% greater than 50%?
Yes.
Everyone do the math. What's 75% of 107? 81. Does anyone disagree that the number is 81? No disagreement? There are those out there that would disagree with this. Basic math, people. They're trying to convince you that they met quorum to remove our chairperson. And it's right here. Now, let's read that there's a pesky little statement in here. These 81 people must be in person and not by proxy. Did they have 81 committee members there to remove Christina? No. Let me hear you. No! All right.
Hell no.
It's that simple. Hell no. This is real simple stuff.
Christina Caramo, chairman of the Michigan Republican Party, spoke at the delegate sign-up event. Here is Christina.
Thank you all so much. To Melissa's point, the delegates are the party. I just happen to serve in the position as chair. That's it. That just happens to be my particular lane. And I don't say that just as like a talking point to make people feel good. Just philosophically, that's how the party needs to work. That's how the party survives. Because if the party is top heavy, then we're constantly dependent on the 2-year cycle of who the chair is. If you got a decent chair, the party goes in a good direction. If the chair is awful, then the party goes in a bad direction. So it causes too much mass instability in the party. But if the party is fundamentally structured to ensure that it's at the grassroots level who dictates the direction of the party, then we have long-term stability. First, have to have a vision. And what is our vision? What are we trying to accomplish? And our goal is to protect the republic. So in order to have a true republic style of government, it requires the involvement of all of us. Like when Pastor Berlin was speaking, that's what he was saying. That oftentimes we complain about these elected officials, but who puts them there? And then our rigged elections, we let them get rigged. We weren't stewards over our government. And because we were stewards over our government, the Marxists, right? These people aren't liberals. They are socialists. They're globalist Marxists. That's what they are. So if you look down historically of what these people have been up to, they've been working on conquering our country for well over 100 years, starting with the Federal Reserve.
Christina points out that the problem began with the creation of the Federal Reserve. What do we know about the Federal Reserve? We know it's not federal, and it has no reserves. We know that in Article 3, Section 10, of the U.S. Constitution, says this: "No state shall make anything, but gold and silver coin, a tender in payment of debts." The fiat currency, that the Federal Reserve System creates, is unconstitutional. Gold in 1913, the year the Federal Reserve was created, was priced at $18.92. Today, gold sells for $2,031.14. The Fed-produced fiat currency has lost 99.068% of its purchasing power since 1913. Fiat currency is an unconstitutional form of taxation on the working class. As the purchasing power of wages declines, asset prices, such as stocks and bonds, rise. This is a simple wealth transfer from the working class to the rich and to the government. Next, Sue Heffling does a deep dive into Macomb County's 2020 cast vote records.
I'm going to be exposing you to something today that's kind of flying under the radar. And it's coming from the cast vote records. And what we're going to be looking at briefly is the behavior of our election management server here in Macomb County for the 2020 election. Okay? Now, from when ballots from both parties are treated the same. The blue line is the candidate percentage, all right? And we would expect that to settle quickly into a horizontal path as it obeys something called the law of large numbers. Basically meaning the more votes you've counted, the harder it is for a small group of votes to change the pattern. So you're going to expect some initial variation with that line, and it's going down to the ending percentage, all right? And finally, you have a statistically calculated limits in this red cone, and these are the things that we expect to see if if the EMS is treating ballots from both parties the same. And so we see that in U.S. House District 10 race, we see clearly Lisa McClain's race follows that pattern, as does a Michigan House District race, number 33, Jeff Yarrick. His race looks really good. So now we're going to look at counting pattern number 2. Take a deep breath. That's counting pattern number 2 for the mail-in ballots. We don't see a horizontal path for the candidate percentage, so we know it's not obeying the law of large numbers. And it doesn't stay within the red cone until the very end. So we see instead of what we see an initial Democrat ballot front load that's pushing that Republican candidate percentage down. And this is the EMS is counting unusually high percentages of Democrat ballots first. This is like 80-20. This is like Detroit level inner city variance between Republican and Democrat ballots. And then we have this very controlled linear rise to the ending percentage. So basically, this linear rise is problematic because the EMS used a mathematically predictable pattern to control the percentage of Republican ballots being counted. So we see this abnormal counting pattern used for the following Macomb County races in 2020. President, Senate, prosecuting attorney, treasurer, Farlini, clerk, public works, sheriff. So this abnormal pattern, the second pattern that's going into the EMS counting machine, was found in over 161 out of 202 counties where cast vote records were analyzed. It was found in all major voting system vendors' machines, including ES&S, which we use here, and Dominion. All of them have it. So are you telling me that the 2020 Macomb County election was not safe and secure? No. That is what the cast vote record audit trail is telling me. All right? It is absolute proof that the EMS corrupted the ballot counting process by treating ballots for both parties differently in some races and not others.
This just in. There is a split in the Michigan Republican Party. Kristina Karamo, like Donald Trump, is someone who can't be controlled by the moneyed interests that have controlled the party for a very long time. Here is a short clip of a video Kristina just released.
Michiganders are fed up with the direction our state is going in politically, and this is exactly why I ran to become chair of the Michigan Republican Party, and I'm honored to continue serving you in that capacity. But there's an important message that I must deliver to you in order for people to be able to separate truth versus fiction and to understand exactly where we are going at the Michigan Republican Party. Our primary goal is to win elections with constitutionalist Republicans to ensure that we, the people of Michigan, have better political representation. And part of that mission has required us to fight pervasive political corruption. As you all know, that most Michiganders and Americans as a whole have very little faith in their elected officials and the political system. Why is that? Because money has become more important than the mission.
Kristina's complete video can be seen on our website, 10thgopmi.com. Because of this split in the party, our website will no longer be the official website for the district. Instead, we will be just a news organization, reporting on the news in the district. We hope this family feud can be resolved quickly. But like Donald Trump, the fight has been going on for 7 years. Republics turn into democracies, and democracies turn into oligarchies. With stolen elections, and candidates bribed, blackmailed, and bullied. It is no wonder most peoples have a very low opinion of government. And the people who supposedly serve them. Go to 10thgopmi.com to see Kristina's video and the other videos at the delegate sign-up event. Have a great day. And as always, God bless America.